it sounds, you know, extra, extra, but
watch them grow, perceive, devote. This is the seed, light the show. Watch them grow.
hello, Libra, Princess India here. Somewhere in this vicinity, you should see me shuffling your cards that are on my desk right now. Let me fix this microphone. Wait a minute. I don't even know if you just heard what I said, Libra. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into you guys' cards. I hope that you have been fine. Oh, as you can probably see up here, your cards are rather fascinating, Libra, but I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to jump right in. So anywho, you guys' overall energy is Star Brothers, and it says Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, and trust. Now, when I look at this, we think about, I think about the, the eye of Horus. So more or less like your pineal gland and things of the sort. So I feel like more or less for the month of June, Libras are going to be going through a process of an ascension in consciousness, if you will, getting woke and whatnot or whatever. More or less being delivered from what I call a timeline that I clearly see in you guys' cards here. I don't know if that's up there yet, but y'all got a lot of short cards. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know you're air sign Libra, but I mean, damn. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, but I feel what we're talking about here is sensory consciousness, which is what all of us aspire to ascend past. And I know I had to keep rechecking myself when I did Aquarius reading, because for some strange reason, the energy I was in for Aquarius felt like a portal. Hypothetically speaking. And it felt much like I kept feeling as if I was saying Libra, like not out loud, but I mean, it's like as I'm reading the cards, the impression I got was that like I was reading for Libra. So for those of you who have Aquarius in your chart and some of you who don't, I would say go ahead and look at that reading. Just for the simple fact, because I mean, technically that's your star brother, because you know, y'all are air signs and things, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, y'all could look at Gemini too, damn. You know what I'm saying? Because Gemini's theme is all throughout all of the readings, but Gemini was about integration, integrating facets of yourself, and Aquarius was, it had some stuff in there that was like everyday kind of stuff, but in the bigger picture of things, it was talking about an ascension in consciousness. And I feel it's happening with you guys more or less. If I were to say big picture, what I'm seeing here, and let me just run through your cards real quick. Your central energy is the Nine of Swords. Taurus had that as a challenge. Your challenge card is the Ten of Swords. That's a lot going on. Your past influence is the King of Wands. Your below energy is the Four of Cups. Your above energy is the Three of Swords in the reverse. And going forward towards July, we have the Knight of Wands. And at the bottom of you guys' deck, we have the Eight of Swords. A lot of swords, is it not? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, whew, Lord have mercy. But here's the thing. With all of these sword cards, and I mean, and we already know sword cards are indicative of our mental challenges and things of the sort, but it's the fact that sword cards are in abundance. The next would be our phallic symbol of wands, you know what I mean? And then we have one little water card here, but then we have like a water card that's more or less about, you know, like a pause. So I feel this is more or less the energy with the Four of Cups of something that's being birthed in you all, because this is almost like being stuck on a timeline or a Likert scale, to make it sound less, you know, woo-woo. But I consider them timelines because I believe that timelines or Likert scales, as I call them, you know, like a Likert scale, you know, anyway. But I think that's a good explanation for how I see it energetically, in the sense that that's how evolution works. It's more or less, there's different levels of development, and each level of development is on a Likert scale where you have two extremes. So it's this one energetic vibration, right? And this is the 0 point, and you have one extreme on this side, which is like all your negative numbers. You have one extreme on this side, which is all of your positive numbers. And every level that we're on in our personal development, it's like we're moving from either side. So until you master both sides of that Likert scale and you get all of the lessons, then it's like spirit delivers you from that particular timeline, right? Because there's no other way to get off of it unless you're delivered from it, which means that you come back to that 0 point, intricately understanding both sides, what the purpose of it was, what the lessons of this experience were, and then you go to the next level, right? Otherwise, you're just kind of going back and forth. So I say that to say, looking at these energies with swords and with wands, that's masculine energy. They're phallic symbols. One side of them, your cerebral nature, is in abundance, right? Specifically with swords energy, you never want too much of the cerebral energy, because it ends up becoming a prison for you, right? So what this says to me is that the struggle that Libra has not just having in June, I feel like it's being rectified in June, but I feel coming into June, you guys are coming in with an energy with the King of Wands of mastery, in so many words. So it's some of you potentially being in a leadership position or taking on the role of a leader in your life, you know, working on projects, you know, being the go-to person that's hella resourceful and things of the sort, creative problem solving and all that good stuff. And I don't feel that you guys have any lack in that area. You know, when it comes to creative prowess or innovation or resourcefulness or business acumen and things of the sort, I don't feel that you guys are lacking in that area at all. And I feel that you have the passion and drive to pursue, you know, that which you feel led to do. However, I feel that your biggest enemy in your life is your mind, right? So despite you guys having all of this drive and passion, like, you know, the things that push you to do the things that you feel led to do, or the things that you've mastered in your life, I feel that you guys very much may feel as if you're stuck in a cycle where it's 2 steps forward, 2 steps back kind of deal. You can't ever seem to really get out of the situation, because it's not that you don't have the skill set. It's not that you don't have the creativity. It's not that you don't have the motivation. It's not that you don't have the vitality or the vigor or anything of the sort. And you can't ever seem to figure out why it is, like the rug gets pulled from under you, right? However, I see what that is, in the sense that I'm looking at the 3 of Swords up here in the reverse, and such a wonderful card it is, you know, when our mind is breaking our heart and things of the sort, and how we recreate our past or project our past into our present and then recreate it in the future. Now, how do we do that? That means that in the bigger scheme of things, there was some level of disappointment in your life, or several disappointments, that brought you to a place to where you stop trusting people and you stop trusting the world, right? So it's solo dolo syndrome. That's not a real syndrome. I totally just made it up. But it's like being the lone wolf, in so many words. So it's the rationalization that if I keep people away, if I don't let people get close, you know, my heart stays safe, so I don't have to experience that again. So much like, and I can't remember if that was Aquarius or I think that was Sagittarius that I said that in, where I spoke of emotional unavailability and how we become emotionally unavailable with ourselves when we shut down our heart space, meaning when we refuse to acknowledge our emotions, when we suppress our emotions, when we close down our heart, and so pretty much lock up, you know, our proverbial inner wife, our emotional space. When we lock her up in a cage in the basement, you know what I mean, and just do, you know, proverbial dude stuff, which this is all masculine energy, it's operating like that. You shut down your heart space and it ends up becoming proverbial toxic masculinity, not in the sense of the societal construct of toxic masculinity, but if we borrowed that definition and applied it to the individual self, that's what we're dealing with here. It just becomes about achievement and doing, and you know what I'm saying, ascending the corporate ladder and things of the sort, and it's completely neglecting your inner world. That's the same concept that I was explaining in Sag, so you guys may want to watch that as well. However, when you shut down your heart space, that's the seat of your soul. That's where your intuition comes from. So it's very difficult to hear from spirit when you're not in tune with the emotional space, because the conduit between spirit and, you know, a human, right, is the emotional realm. So if your emotions are shut down, then your intuitive hits are hit and miss. Sometimes you hear from spirit, sometimes you don't. You hear spirit, you know, speaking, or you hear a spiritual message from someone and it's like, I don't know what that means. I have no idea what they're talking about. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand what you're saying, right? When you're too cerebral, you can't hear the words behind the words, right? Because it's speaking to your heart space. Only your heart can interpret it. Like the human mind does not possess the ability to decode or interpret spiritual messages. The human mind can't see synchronicities and call them anything, or feel that they're oracles or omens or anything. It's just, that's a coincidence. It's just a very strange coincidence. It's happenstance. You know what I mean? Rationalizing everything. So I say all of that to say that what I feel the issue that's going to be confronted with or by Libras this month is an issue of hard-heartedness, right? It's being, like I said, a lone wolf. It's not letting people in. It's, in a sense, allowing your past to control your life, because if you've shut down your heart, right, and you don't trust people and things of the sort, and you oscillate either between being super duper, like, you know, stagnant, sad and depressed, and then being like buku, like ape with it, where, you know, you're doing buku stuff, or at one point in time you was buku depressed and you was like, don't being depressed, I'm just about to achieve, you know what I'm saying? So you left all that in the past and now you're like in achievement mode. That's still the same vibrational energy. So nothing has really changed. You're just on another side of the Likert scale. This month gives you guys an opportunity to be delivered from this Likert scale. And the way that you do that, and this is interesting because this came out in one of my my weekly readings, the way that you do that is counterintuitive. And what's counterintuitive to cerebral energy, you know what I mean, or any masculine form, would be the feminine energy, you know? So it would be going within. It would be with the 9 of Swords. It's actually facing the pain that you've been running from and allowing yourself to grieve it so that it can proverbially kill you. You know what I'm saying? So you can be reborn. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how rebirth happens. That's how enlightenment happens. That's how self-actualization happens, is by confronting the pain that we run from, right? So like I said, with that past and how your past in essence has control over you in the present, is because your behavior has changed. If someone hurt you 10 years ago and you stop trusting people, that person still has power over you. So if you think that they hurt you then that one time, you've decided to perpetuate that pain that they invoked on you. So if we say it like this, because since we're talking about being emotionally unavailable, when you were emotionally available, you opened your heart to someone and you trusted them. You believed that they had your best interest at heart, and they betrayed you. They screwed you over, stabbed you in the back, right? So you made the decision, hypothetically, I am never going to trust another person again. I will never love again. I will never let people in my life again. I will never allow anyone close to me because this one time I did and this person broke my trust. So I will never let that happen again. So you shut down your heart space. Now we fast forward 10 years to now, right? So your heart space is shut down. You've perpetuated that same pain that this person invoked on you, but you've kept it up for the last 10 years because you made the choice to do that. You could have chosen, you could have said, okay, my feelings got hurt, you know what I'm saying? And then chose to do it again. And then of course, there's always the thought of like, but what if I kept getting hurt again and again and again and again and again? True. You know what I'm saying? That's possible. But it's just the simple fact that inexperience led you to make a choice or a decision, which you have the free will to do. And it's gotten you to the space that you are now, where there was never an opportunity to ever know if that would not have happened, right? If it was 7 times that you got your heart broken or got backstabbed by, a friend or screwed over by a job or what have you, and you shut your heart down, then you still don't know if that 8th time that it wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? So it's just, what my point is in all of this is simply that an experience that you endured with a person outside of yourself had you make a decision where you chose to not be yourself, meaning if you were emotionally available and you chose to become emotionally unavailable because of what you endured with this person, of course, yeah, we grieve, you're sad, you might pull back for a little while, but I'm talking about this perpetuating. Or this reading is for a person where I'm speaking about a person where this has been perpetuated for some time. So now you've altered your energetic signature and you're now showing up in a way that isn't you, because that's not who you are. This isn't who you were. This is who you became based on someone outside of yourself. So my point in saying all of this is showing you how much that person is still very much in control of you. Because yes, they did hurt you, but to protect yourself from that person, you've in essence held yourself back from every other person who wants to love you, wants to be your friend, wants to be your business partner, or whatever the case may be. And I feel that this month, the work that's being done is to eradicate this, right? So whatever this grief is, whatever this pain is, it's finally facing it and feeling it, crying about it, grieving about it, and let it just be that, not judging yourself, not feeling a certain type of way, and starting to get back in tune with your emotional space. Now, granted, that's a process within itself. And I say with this 8 of Swords, as well as with this 4 of Cups, these are both to me giving the same message. I feel specifically with the 4 of Cups for the month, it's saying much like how it was for Taurus too. This isn't a month of action, right? This is a month of the only action that's being taken is an internal action. It's you guys self-reflecting, looking at your past, your experiences, paying attention to what's triggering you, right? The people that you can't stand, right? People who have judged you in your life, people who made you feel that, who you are, what you are isn't enough. Taking a gander at how many of your relationships are emotionally unavailable, or if you have a tendency to isolate yourself from people and not to have emotional connections with people, why you feel that you have to do everything by yourself. You know what I mean? These are all things that you guys would be reflecting on this month. And it's more or less, in the bigger scheme of things, it's dying to that. So in essence, when you guys do move forward, you're going to be moving forward with a part of yourself that has been forgotten, which is your, if you want to call it your inner child, if you want to call it, you know, your inner wife, like whatever you want to call it. But it's going back to retrieve your emotional space. And I would say inner child would be very appropriate. You know what I mean? Because I like to think that our inner children are the ones that who gets a lot of garbage put on them, and we morph into someone that we're not based on our experiences for other people. So in the bigger scheme of things here, Libra, and I apologize if I'm rambling, but what I'm really talking about here is self-forgiveness, because hard-heartedness is a byproduct of a lack thereof of forgiveness. It's either you've yet to forgive someone who hurt you in your past, or you haven't forgiven yourself for allowing that person to hurt you. So it's projecting a past situation onto everyone else. And an example of this would be, you know, sometimes when you're talking to people and they'll say, you know, like all men are dogs. You know what I'm saying? All women are gold diggers. You know what I'm saying? It's like you haven't met all men. You have not met all women. You know what I'm saying? Even if we went into the sense of saying like all people, period, all Black people, all white people, all Asian people, all Hispanic people, we can't make judgments like that about people. You know what I mean? Because you've never met every single person, and human beings are multifaceted people, and it's an unfair thing for yourself and to other people to judge people on a very, you know, minute, limited experience, because we have to take into account our personal influence in our encounters, right? Especially when we're talking about dating people. It's like all men are not dogs. It's like all the dudes that you dated are dogs. All women are not gold diggers. All of the women that you dated are gold diggers. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be realistic about the judgments that we're making. And we also have to know that when we make judgments of other people, we're simultaneously making a judgment about ourselves, because we can't see something in another person unless it exists in us first, you know? So just like I said with the Sag reading, if you are emotionally unavailable with yourself, like you're ignoring and neglecting your emotional space, you are going to date people that treat you how you treat yourself, because it feels normal, right? You don't feel your feelings. You don't acknowledge your feelings. I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm triggered and I don't know why I'm triggered. I'm just mad. I don't know why I'm mad. You know what I mean? That's a lack of self-awareness in the emotional space. So it's a lack of emotional awareness. I feel some type of way. We jokingly say that, but it's imperative you know what some type of way is. Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you frustrated? Do you feel downtrodden? Is that anxiety? Like, what is this that you're feeling? You know what I mean? So it's imperative to get emotionally intelligent with oneself, because if you're not familiar with your own emotional space, it's the universe trying to help you by attracting people like that to you. It's not for you to feel bad about yourself or, you know, to continue getting abused or whatever. It's in hopes of you seeing this mirror reflection of, and being honest enough with yourself to be able to see those connections. You know what I mean? Especially as spiritual people, because it would be asinine for any of us to think that in our day-to-day doings that all of this stuff is not connected. To say that, you know, I'm a sweet, kind, you know, spiritual person that's just trying to help the world, and I keep meeting all of these people that are just so mean, and I don't know what it is, like what it is about me, you know, that would be asinine. And I feel it takes a level of emotional maturity, of spiritual maturity, to graduate from that victim mentality of thinking that life is happening to you as opposed to for you. That's what I always talk about, like in the woke book, when I talk about patterns. Those are the patterns that we're seeing. To judge something superficially and say, well, you know, all the people I've dated in the past are totally different. Are they? You know what I'm saying? Or inherently, is it always a pattern of being financially extorted, or a person who invalidates your feelings, or a person who cheats, or whatever the case may be? It's like speaking on that level. And these are synchronicities that the mind can't see. You need your emotional space for that. You need your intuition for that. Those quiet whispers that are saying like, that feels familiar. You know what I mean? But it's like with your mind, there'll be lots of things that are happening. Masculine energy, and not meaning dudes with penises, but I mean just masculine energy in its form. That's not how it operates. It's not what it does. You know what I mean? So when we're operating too much in an action-oriented energy, or too much in a cerebral energy, we miss the opportunity to see those synchronicities. It's why, the feminine energy is important, because both of them help each other out. But if you ever find yourself, like if you're listening to allegory or metaphor, and you're like, I don't understand, none of this makes sense, like you're too much in cerebral energy. You know what I'm saying? You have to listen to your inner voice. But anywho, that's what I feel like the main thing is that's happening for Libras this month, though. I feel that things are not as bad as they may seem. You guys aren't as trapped as they seem. It's another perspective that's needed, and that perspective that's needed is rescuing your heart from your mind, because your heart is in an abusive relationship with your mind right now, like in real life. Like your mind is treating your heart so bad. But it's something you have the potential to proverbially die to this month, to leave this behind you. It sounds, extra, but, just a little emotional space, And I mean, hey, it wouldn't kill you to holler at a therapist. It don't have to be me. You know what I'm saying? It can be any therapist. But I think it would behoove you guys to talk to somebody this month, or choose to start doing the work in this area this month, because you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So now would be a really great time to have someone help you unravel all of this. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, I love you guys, Libra. I'm going to go over to my website, Vimeo, Patreon, and then the YouTube membership to do you guys extended. So if you're about that life, follow me over there. If not, still love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later. Deuces. Hello again, my Libra friend and whatnot, or whatever. Welcome to your extended Libra. We're gonna take and pull you guys. Okay. I like this. Okay. We're pulling you guys, overall energy. That's the same one that's from YouTube, but I'm looking at what was underneath that, and it's another 8. I'm just saying, and it's the 8 of Pentacles, and like I said, with wands and with swords, those being phallic masculine symbols, pentacles and cups are feminine energies. So we're gonna go ahead and take this energy as if what you guys are mastering this month is your feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, dude, like how I was saying, like, the whole self-forgiveness thing and blah, 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 blah. All of that is a process and it's work. You know what I mean? But I think the 8 of Pentacles is a great illustration of that, because it's taking your time to master something. So this is more or less a journey that you guys are beginning of mastering yourself, in so many words. So anywho, your first card, we have the 4 of Pentacles, dog. Okay, let me tell you something. Those of you who know how I always, like when I talk about hard-heartedness or cutting off our emotional space, I always use the 4 of Pentacles as an example of that, because I think it's probably the most amazing example, energetically speaking, and a, symbolic representation of what I'm talking about. But with the 4 of Pentacles, I always say that because if you look closely at the card, you have someone, right? So we could be talking about money, or we could just be talking about inner energies. You know what I mean? It's like closing off your heart space, right? It's either retreating of like trying to, how could I say this? It's like a substitution. So like how I was saying, like the whole reflecting thing, like you're emotionally unavailable and then you go date someone who's emotionally unavailable, right? It's more or less trying to supplement the emotional space, right? Because this is a feminine energy. So as opposed to tapping into your emotions, what you're going to try to do is use these masculine energies to get like money, right? So to fill the void of what's left by vacating your emotional space, you'll try to substitute it with a feminine energy, which would be like money, right? So with the wands, it's like you're doing achievement, you're using your brain, you know, to be strategic to get this form of feminine energy, right? Which is why when we're sad or we're feeling some type of way, you know what I mean? We'll eat. You know, we feel things with the physical body. We're going to eat. We're going to go shopping. You know, we're going to do just basically external self-care kind of stuff or whatever, because we're trying to supplement for the fact that we're in emotional unrest. You know what I mean? Because you cut off your heart chakra, which links you to your earthly chakras. It prevents you from being grounded. So you're always going to feel like you're floating away. And then your crown chakra gets cut off. You know what I'm saying? So you can't hear from spirit. So you see that she's covered in this black cloak. That's indicative of stagnation and death, because that's ultimately what happens. And just like I was saying with this Eight of Swords here, it's like if you think about what, like just a very practical sense of what water does, you know what I mean? To flush something out, you know, to clean out your system, or you know, if you go get a colon cleanse, you know, clean out your colon, right? Colon health is what's hot in the streets. Or if you look at it as like taking a shower, taking a bath, that's like cleansing. Now, if you think about your emotional space as synonymous with water, if you're completely closing that out, that's a really tacky, and I don't mean tacky like, you know, like tacky, but I mean tacky like tacky. You know what I'm saying? Like stagnant, sticky kind of energy. You know what I mean? So the thing that I'm seeing here for you guys, just starting off, going deeper into your spread, it's confirming with it being next to this Three of Swords in the reverse, just like how, you know, like how we got here. Because this card is now in your present. This is the past energy. This is saying how it is that we got here. And what I believe you guys are supplementing with, it's with this King of Wands, it's mastering the external realm. It's focusing on career, focusing on being powerful, but looking at it in this sense, it's almost like a sense of operating in, like I said, toxic masculinity, an aggressive, well, I won't necessarily say aggressive. For some people it is sometimes, but an aggressive, take charge, you know, powerful, you know, I ain't got time for no bullshit kind of energy. That's pseudo power. That's not real power. You know what I'm saying? It's a pseudo form of power. Like to tap into real power, you need that feminine energy to balance it out. So it's almost like a soft spoken power, like power. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, because I want to say like it illuminates from you, but I don't feel like that's the proper word. I can't think of what the word is. Exude? No, not exude. I don't know what the word is, y'all. Never mind. Oh, wait, is that another 8? It is the Strength card, and that's a major arcana. Where was the other 8 card? Oh yeah, at the bottom of the deck. The 8 of Pentacles. That's 3 8s. I'm just saying, moving right along. This is exactly what I'm saying. What the Strength card would represent. This is real power, right? And it's because it's an integration of the masculine and feminine principles. So it gets you that middle road type of power, right? So it's more or less one of those things. I think I said this in Taurus. I don't know if I said it out loud or if I thought it, but something along the lines of like overcoming the world, like being truly empowered, that comes from a place of within. Like when you're grounded and rooted within yourself, when you're clear on your authentic self and you're no longer allowing past wounds or things that other people have done to you, or how people have wrongfully judged you, and you internalizing that, and the way that you're combating that is with, I don't want to necessarily say like a rebellious, but an abrasive, like rejection, like I'm not doing that kind of energy, or I'm not about that kind of energy, like I'm just worried about me, I ain't got time, like a vibe like that. That's false power. That's not real power. It looks like it. I think to people in sensory consciousness, absolutely, they would consider that a person who's strong and powerful and like, oh wow, you know. But a person with spiritual awareness can discern and see straight through that is complete bullshit. Because with the power that comes from the strength card, like authentic power, that's something, I'm going to have to say resounds. It's something that resounds from a person's inner being, where they never have to say a word. And it's just a reverence and a respect that you have for this person without them ever having to force it upon you. They don't have to demand respect, because their presence says, I respect myself, and therefore people will follow suit. Like someone standing in authentic power can change the dynamics in a room without saying a word, without looking a certain way. It's just people will feel that energy shift, right? So this is the place that I feel Spirit is trying to get you guys to, but you cannot get there without your heart space, without your emotional world. You can't do that, because I feel, Jesus, because I feel with these energies now, they're so out of whack, like they're so out of balance, that it's like, I don't know, they're kind of like running away from with themselves in a sense. You know what I mean? And that's like what I was saying with this 8 of Swords over on YouTube. That's the stagnation. That's why it feels like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, because it's almost like there's a need for you to retrieve yourself, a part of yourself. So it will always be, until you do this, you will be going from each side of the Likert scale to 2 extremes of the masculine energy. And now it's time for you guys to master the feminine energy. The next card that we have is the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. And let me just get this other one. We have the 7 of Wands. Fascinating. All right. Okay. For some of y'all, and I'm saying this because I'm seeing these 2 Pentacle cards from the past influence, spiritual energy stuff, this is not a game. Like, this stuff is so serious, because insidious stuff like this is happening. Some of y'all, this really is a money issue that has to do with childhood issues with finances, like maybe growing up and remembering what it's like to not have enough. Just think, if you have Taurus in the 12th house, that's one of those things where your biggest fear in life is